What's up, YouTube? ProTech here, back with another video for you guys today. Today, we are going to be diving into this player. As we can see at the top of the screen here, he has been indefinitely banned from an organization called Passioncraft for unsportsmanship-like conduct and map hacking. So I ran into him on the ladder today. And we're going to watch this replay and we're going to see. Is he still cheating? Stay tuned to find out. Sound down a little bit. So, my teammate picked Protoss and I picked Zerg. See if there's any 0 APM drops here. Not 0, but, well, of course, as soon as I say that. I've talked enough about 0 APM drops. You guys should know what it is by now. Not really scouting with this probe, is he? Hasn't scouted the pool timing, hasn't scouted the saturation. He's seen a total of 2 Zerglings. He sees the creep expansion. So, all in all, he didn't really get any information. All right. He's gone up to 3 gateways. And even a 4th gateway. This is not a build. What this looks like to me is perhaps he's got production tab hack open and he can see how many lings are on the map. And then he chrono boosts his core. For what? Okay, moving along. So if he didn't go up to this 4 gate, and more importantly, chrono boost his core 2 times, they die to this. And based on what he scouted, you know, we were watching his perspective, he never looked anywhere here. He sees, I mean, everything that he sees and everything that he looked at was completely standard. So I have no understanding of why he would double chrono and then go up to a 4 gate with no tech. That does not make any sense. Because truth is, if he doesn't do all of this, they just lose the game. So I find that incredibly strange. I have no explanation for that. Other than probably cheating. It's very unorthodox. It's very not standard. You don't see that. I honestly think that that was a reaction to the production tab. So he's warping in a stalker here. And the Oracle is flying on this side of the map. Now, bear in mind, the opponents do not know that this player has gone for a Stargate. And another thing also I find a little strange is that he's only just now building his tech, which just happens to be the counter to Stargate. I mean, he saw 2 Adepts and fast 2 gases, right? If it were me in this situation, based off of the information that I had, I would be worried about Dark Shrine. Now look at his army moving to the left, right? Well, the Oracle is right here. So why is he moving his army to the left like that? His camera, did you see his camera kind of zigzag down like that? When the Oracle is like literally right there, did you see his camera zigzag down like that? I swear, dude, hackers, they just can't help themselves. They do everything. They try so hard throughout the course of a game to make it look like they're legit. And then they just do these little things that incriminates them. Watch him zigzag. So the Oracle, see this movement right here? The Oracle's right here. It has not been spotted. He's moving over this way, right? Could just be a coincidence, right? But what I don't think is a coincidence is when we look at the zigzag, sending a probe over here, and then watch his camera. Right here. See how it went down like that and then up? And it's literally right there. So, while I can't be for sure at the current moment in time whether he's hacking or not, what I can say is that quite literally everything that I've seen in this game is insanely sketch. Insanely sketch. And if there's a concept that I always talk about, right? One of this concept that I always talk about is, you have cheaters who want to get caught, and then you have cheaters who don't want to get caught, right? If we take a look at the game state, okay, he ended up losing what? 5 workers. That's not really that big of a deal, right? Because my teammate hasn't freaking expanded. Right? And so let's assume for a second that he is actually hacking, but he's trying to hide it. Well, he would just let this happen, because even if he lets it happen, it doesn't matter. There's no expansion here, right? And God only knows what this guy is doing. I have no idea what my teammate is doing. He basically threw away our lead in its entirety by not expanding. But anyway, so I think what we saw there was the little click with the stalkers. He probably made that click, and he probably thought to himself, ooh, somebody could see that in the replay. I don't want to make this look obvious, right? I think he's trying to cover or hide the fact that he is in fact cheating. That's really what it looks like to me. If you disagree with that, leave a comment down below. But it really, really does look to me like he's trying to hide it. That being said, I still can't be 100% sure whether or not he's cheating. But everything I've seen so far would definitely point towards it. Let's see if he does anything even more incriminating throughout the course of this replay. It's kind of a long one, too. So his camera peaks here. My army is here, of course. Sends his stalkers back, and then he grabs a probe right as this is happening. So we're seeing a lot of coincidences, right? Okay, so there's adepts going into the main. The backdoor rocks are safe. He cleans up the adepts. He snaps to his main, warps in 3 stalkers here, leaves this base completely exposed. As you can see, he's sending his whole army to the left side here, to this location. Right here is the A move. Now, let's see if we can figure out why he might be doing that. Well, my army is here, and bear in mind, this is all completely unscouted. If you've been paying attention to the minimap, there should be no reason that they are doing this. But we can see 2 oracles headed this way. He's A moving his army here, and then warping in 3 stalkers here. Because if these, and bear in mind, these still have not been scouted, or even seen. There's an Ovi here, there's a Bane here. Why is he not worried about this location at all? I mean, if the Stargate from our opponent, or from his opponent, is in this location, this is an easier access point. You know, you can go up here and snipe some drones, and you can go here and kill workers. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a better access point, and the exit point is easier too. It's a lot safer. So my question, what I don't understand is why he's so concerned at this exact moment in time, okay? He's so concerned about lings that he can't see. He's so concerned about oracles and lings that he can't see. And he's moving his whole army this way. Now, do you see why I was saying before it looks like he was trying to cover the fact that he was cheating? Because none of this makes any sense. This is the exposed base. You know, this area has the airspace to retreat from. Most players are going to go here. Makes more sense. Yet, for some reason, he's not concerned about that at all. So look at that. Now he's got his whole army here for these 2 oracles. There's 2 things here. I can't tell exactly what's happening here. Hold on. Okay. I thought maybe his teammate was pinging the Zergling here, but that's not actually what he's pinging. His teammate is pinging the double Oracle here that has not been seen. So that's 100% that this guy is cheating. Okay, we don't even need to watch it from his perspective. He's literally pinging 2 Oracles that have gone completely unscouted. As you can see on the minimap there, right? You hover your cursor over the name, and then you can see who issued the ping. He's literally pinging the Oracles that have not been scouted. So that's obvious map hack from his teammate, which, you know, I gotta be honest with you guys. These Easy Money clan tags and these Rotter clan tags, they're kind of bullshit. Anyway. So, let's see. So then he runs away. His camera is literally panned over top of these 2 Oracles, and then he snaps his army back. Okay, so let's look at this decision making, okay? Here are the 2 Oracles. He looks here. He actually looks at the Oracles, and then he still sends his army this way. In my opinion, this is completely intentional. Because everything that we saw leading up to this, they obviously knew, at least his teammate knew for sure, that there were 2 Oracles here. So I actually think that this is just intentional, and I think the reason that he did that, and I think the reason that he continues to do this, is because he knows how late my teammate's expansion is, and how far ahead he is in terms of economy. I don't think that this play right here exonerates him from cheating. And of course, if you disagree with that, you can leave a comment. But I think anybody with any ounce of reason can see that this is a very cringe attempt at hiding the fact that he's cheating. That is my opinion. Okay, moving along. Check that out. Let's see if what happened there with that Oracle. Look at that. He peeks into the fog in this location right here. These are his teammates' units. What's he doing here? Look at that. See that? And then it comes into vision. And look, did you see that? He even ran literally, he ran his stalkers up so that the Oracle could not see them. And then when the 2 Banes went to the ramp, and then he activated the pulsar beam, it made the Oracle get into range so that it would die from the stalkers. Let's go back and look at what he does here. This is the mark of a map hacker who has been using it for a very long time. Look at this. His camera peeks into the fog. He sends his army up, his 3 stalkers up, so that when the Oracle comes into vision, the Oracle can't actually see these stalkers. It gets close to the Banes, activates the pulsar beam, and then he gets the kill. Look at this. See that shit? Oh, man. That is some high-level cheating. Look at that. Oh my god, that is so disgusting. And you'll notice, like, no matter where these Oracles are, That's where his army is. I mean, anyway, moving along. Goes up to a third base. So he issues a bunch of commands where? To this location. Is there anything here? There's nothing here. It's almost as if maybe he wants to attack. And then, for some unknown reason, he decides that he's going to change the trajectory. Why? Oh, because my army's here. So the reason he decided to go here was because this army was crossing. And again, in my opinion, this also looks like hacking as well, because he's not in position per se, but he's in close enough proximity to make a viewer think, oh, well, maybe he isn't cheating. But he's not going to take any damage from the Ling run by, right? I really think that, just let me put it out there, status, in my opinion, is hacking. And this replay proves it. That is my opinion. And I think it is super cringe the way that he's trying to hide it. Anyway, moving along. Is he still on 4 gates? Yeah, he's still on 4 gates. My God. Why would you still be on 4 gates here? All right. So now apparently we're blinking forward. Okay, remember, 20 seconds ago, he was all worried about this side of the map. And now, all of a sudden, once again, he seems to be all excited about this side of the map, right? Well, let's see if we can find out why. Why would he be clicking here? Oh, because our army is crossing the map. I mean, he even blinked to get there fast enough so that he could prevent this from dying. And of course, once again, his camera in the right place at the exact right time. And if you take a look at the situation, I can see why he blinked. Because if he can get into this position, you see how the units here are kind of like in a single file line. If he gets up here and gets a concave, he takes an insane trade here. He gets so many units there for free when he otherwise, if he wasn't cheating, that would not have happened. And we would have easily just killed the hatch. I mean, how many more coincidences are we going to have to see before we can say with conviction that, yeah, this player is hacking? And also, if you're watching this status, it is insanely cringe from my viewpoint watching you try to hide it, dude. You don't know how to hide it. Try to do a better job. of course, his army's in perfect position for any frontal assault here. Not enough APM to stop that. Okay, moving along. Seems very concerned about this area of the map for some reason. Like, do you see how he's playing here? What this looks like to me is that he somehow knows that an army is right here. That's what it looks like to me. And then, of course, he takes the engagement here. Like, you could see him sharking around, right? The reason he decides to take the engagement here is because Protoss army is here. And you see how he blinks his entire army here? Well, he knows that this army is not like fishing on the left side of the map, so he knows that he can't stick around for too long. He just needs to pick stuff off because this army is relatively close to the roaches, and the army is big enough to kill him. So that's why he's playing, even though it's very clear that he could just straight up kill this army, it's why he's not. Which they don't actually know up until now. So I'm just sort of explaining the micro process from a map hacker's perspective. The blink forward because the aggro on the lings. This is just really high level cheating. And then I think at this right here, we could have actually won this game if my teammate hadn't AFK'd his army here for so long. Or maybe even if he just had decided to attack with me here. Because in this game, Zerg is not the problem. Protoss is the problem. So him going over here and killing this, I really don't agree with. He should have stayed with me, and I think we actually would have won. But anyway, everything is in vision right now. We need to get to a spot where things are not in vision. Which I'm not really sure that we're going to run into that. I think at this point, there's really no reason to continue watching because it's low eco and everyone's going to be everywhere. But anyway, so in my opinion, Status is still cheating. I think this replay proves it. And in my opinion, everything that he did that makes it look like he isn't cheating, I honestly think it's just a ruse. And I think he's trying to make the viewer think that he isn't, but I think he is. But I don't know. What do you think? Is he still cheating?